When dangerous levels of lead and other toxins were found in the water supply in Flint, Michigan, everyone started worrying about what's in our drinking water.
A national environmental group gave Florida an F for failing to ensure safe drinking water for school children because the state doesn't require testing.
And that is when our I-Team started digging. We also did some testing of our own.
I-Team reporter Danielle WAUGH tells us what they found.
You do this, that turns it on, press it 2 times to get water.
Kendall and her younger sister Faith don't know why water is good for them. They just know what they like.
It is really refreshing.
Her parents put in a home filtration system to improve the taste of their water and keep out dangerous elements like lead.
Here's the system here. You've got your 3 filters here. We felt like it was a good investment to have clean water.
He expects the same level of safety at his kids' school.
I do think that it is imperative for, all the schools, all the places where we have our children to have good, clean drinking water.
The federal government banned the use of lead in water pipes in 1986. Pipes and plumbing in schools built before that typically include lead. Even copper pipes use lead solder. Through a series of public records requests, the CBS 12 I-Team found 106 schools in our area were built before 1986. 5 in Okeechobee County, 6 in Indian River. St. Lucie has 11, Martin has 8, and in Palm Beach County, 72 schools were originally built before 1986.
We do not have information on that, on whether or not they were built with lead piping or not.
Dave Dolan heads facilities management for Palm Beach schools. He says most of the older buildings have been modernized, which means they replace the pipes throughout the entire school.
All of the piping for the underground work, as well as everything above ground, is completely demolished.
The I-Team looked through Palm Beach District records and found 17 older schools, more than half elementary, still haven't been modernized. Dolan says they will get to them. It's a process.
There is a plan to modernize all of the older schools. There's always an ongoing cycle to improve and modernize schools.
Palm Beach County School District is the only district in our area to conduct a county-wide lead test in the past 10 years.
I think everybody became more aware of lead and drinking water issues because of Flint, Michigan, and wanted to ensure that their facilities were unaffected.
Paul Strauss, the head of Environmental and Conservation Services, says they are now testing every 5 years.
We felt that 5 years was a good interval in order for us to sort of monitor the progress of a facility through its life cycle.
In 2016, according to district records, each school had 1 sample tested and all were below 15 parts per billion, the level which, by law, requires immediate action. Both the EPA and the Centers for Disease Control agree there is no known safe level for lead. And it's particularly dangerous to young children because even a very low amount can cause damage to the central nervous system, behavior and learning problems, hyperactivity, slowed growth, seizures, or death. In January, St. Lucie did comprehensive water testing at about a quarter of their schools, collecting samples from multiple water fountains and faucets throughout the campus. Their records also show all tested below 15 parts per billion. Martin, Okeechobee, and Indian River County schools told us they rely on the water utility to conduct tests. But the utilities don't test inside school buildings. So because neither the EPA nor the state of Florida require lead testing in schools, we did some of our own.
Here they are.
We took a dozen samples from Palm Beach County to a state-certified lab in Fort Lauderdale.
They're loaded into the auto sampler of the ICP-MS and analyzed for their heavy metal content.
Lyle Johnson's lab runs about 100 water lead tests every day, mostly for cities and businesses.
Broward County schools, for example, test every drinking water fountain in every school. So people are understandably concerned.
Would you drink water that was 12 parts per billion, 13 parts per billion?
No. It's safe, but why risk it?
Of the dozen samples we brought, the lab found 9 with tiny amounts of lead. 1 tested just under 2 parts per billion, the rest less than 1. a fraction of even the new tighter standard the EPA is proposing to take effect next year, which includes a trigger action of 10 parts per billion. That's good news for Palm Beach County schools, but not good enough for State Senator Lori Berman.
In my opinion, any lead is unacceptable.
Berman wants to skip the testing and just get the lead out.
I don't want us to be spending a lot of money on testing. I think the main thing that we need to be doing right now is putting the filters in and just making sure that it's not there.
Last year, Senator Berman supported a bill to put water filters in every school built before 1986. It didn't pass, but they are trying again this legislative session.
Flint, Michigan showed what happens when you actually do have lead. They had, children having educational delays and really significant problems that'll be lifetime issues. So we want to make sure that it's not something that any Floridian child is subject to.
Because Kendall and Faith should not have to worry about the water they drink at school. Again, we only have the lab test a dozen schools in Palm Beach County. If you would like your school's water tested, contact us at investigate@cbs12.com. Danielle WAUGH, CBS 12 News.